Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zainab, aka Teacher Zainab, and today we are going to practice your English listening skills. This video is designed for intermediate learners around B1 to B2 level. I am going to tell you a short story, but I will speak slowly and clearly. Don't worry if you don't understand everything the first time. Let's get started. The day everything went wrong. Have you ever had one of those days when absolutely nothing goes according to plan? A day when you wake up late, forget important things, make silly mistakes, and somehow everything seems to get worse. Well, that happened to me a few months ago. And it all started with one simple mistake. I forgot to set my alarm. It was a Monday morning, and I had an important job interview at 10 o'clock. I had been preparing for this interview for an entire week. I had practiced my answers, chosen my outfit, and even practiced introducing myself in front of the mirror. I was ready. Or at least, I thought I was. The problem was that I was supposed to wake up at 7. But I didn't. I opened my eyes at 8:43. For a few seconds, I just stared at the ceiling. Then I looked at my phone. 8:43. My interview was at 10. Oh no. I jumped out of bed. I had less than an hour. I quickly got dressed, brushed my teeth, and ran to the kitchen. I wanted to make some coffee, but I didn't have time. I grabbed a banana, put on my shoes, and ran outside. There was just one problem. It was raining. Not a little bit. It was raining heavily. I stood outside for a few seconds, wondering what to do. I could take a taxi, but the roads were probably going to be busy. I could take the bus, but that would take too long. So I decided to order a taxi. I opened the app and waited. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing. Finally, a driver accepted my request. I got into the car and immediately said, "I'm so sorry. I have an interview at 10. The driver looked at me in the mirror and smiled. "Don't worry. We'll get you there." I looked at the time. 9:12. I still had some time. I started feeling a little more relaxed. Then, suddenly, we stopped. There was a huge traffic jam. Cars were everywhere. Nobody was moving. I looked at the clock. 9:25. Then 9:30. Then 9:35. I could feel my heart beating faster. I called the company and explained the situation. Luckily, the woman on the phone was very understanding. She told me not to worry and said they could wait for a few minutes. That made me feel better. Finally, the traffic started moving. At 9:48, I arrived. I jumped out of the taxi and ran toward the building. I walked into the reception area completely out of breath. The receptionist looked at me. "Are you here for the interview?" I nodded. "Yes." She smiled. "Don't worry, you are still on time." I couldn't believe it. I had made it. I took a deep breath and went into the bathroom to check my appearance. And that's when I discovered another problem. My shirt was inside out. I stared at myself in the mirror. How did I not notice this? I quickly fixed it and went back to the reception area. A few minutes later, someone came to get me. "Hi, I am Daniel. It's nice to meet you." We shook hands. "Nice to meet you too." He invited me into a small meeting room. There were 2 other people sitting at the table. I sat down and tried to stay calm. The first question was simple. "Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?" I smiled. I had practiced this question at least 20 times. I opened my mouth and suddenly I forgot everything. My name, my experience, my skills, everything disappeared from my mind. For a few seconds, I just sat there. Then I laughed. "I'm sorry. I've practiced this answer so many times that I think I just confused myself." Everyone laughed, and strangely, that helped. I stopped trying to give the perfect answer. I just started talking. I told them about my experience, the things I enjoyed doing, and why I wanted the job. The interview continued. Some questions were difficult, but I answered them honestly. At the end, Daniel smiled and said, "Thank you. We really enjoyed talking to you." I thanked them and left the building. As soon as I stepped outside, I felt a huge sense of relief. I had survived. I walked to a small cafe nearby and finally ordered the coffee I had wanted that morning. I sat by the window and looked outside. The rain had stopped. For the first time that morning, everything felt calm. I thought about everything that had happened. I had woken up late. I had forgotten my coffee. I had been stuck in traffic. My shirt had been inside out. And I had completely forgotten my perfectly prepared introduction. But somehow, the interview had gone well. That day taught me something important. Sometimes we spend so much time trying to make everything perfect that we forget how capable we are when things don't go according to plan. I had prepared for the interview, but I hadn't prepared for everything that happened before it. And maybe that's the point. We can't control everything. Sometimes we just have to stay calm, solve one problem at a time, and keep going. Oh, and one more thing. 3 days later, I received an email from the company. I got the job. So, in the end, the worst morning I had had in months turned into one of the best days of my year. And every time I have an important day now, I set 2 alarms, just in case. And that's the end of today's listening practice. How much of the story did you understand? Remember, you don't need to understand every single word to improve your listening. The more you listen to English regularly, the easier it becomes to understand naturally. If you enjoyed this practice, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more English listening practice, lessons, and real-life English. And tell me in the comments, what was the most difficult part of the story for you? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!